Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Seniors Today and Evergreen Club. So, you all are welcome here for the sponsored event by Premise, Marzi by Premise. You all know esteemed doctor. वो बहुत बार आप लोगों से मिल चुके, but I would like to introduce her one more time. We have the speaker, Dr. Snehalata Shiva Prakash. She is the VP of Clinical Services at Marzi by Premise and brings over 14 years of experience in patient care, wellness, and healthcare management. She has held leadership roles at Portia and Manipal and is deeply committed to preventive healthcare and holistic wellness, which actually they value at Marzi. So, hello, welcome, doctor. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm glad to be back for another session.
So, today the topic is about the gut and how the emotional things actually affect our gut issues. And I think so, out of 180, 90 people might be having these issues. So let's see. And over to you, doctor, please go for it.
Yeah. Hi. First up, good evening to everyone here, and thank you for a very warm welcome. Um, I hope all of you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes. As we were discussing, we're going to talk about bloating, gas, and gut troubles after 50. Before I start, I'd like you to just think of a situation. Let's say you're going to go for your exams or you're going for kind of a medical checkup. What is the feeling you have in your stomach? You have those butterflies fluttering around, right? So, how does that relate to you? Like, why does it happen? The reason being that our gut is very closely related to our brain, right? So there's a huge connection between the two of them. So whenever there's a mood change, whenever there's a change in your lifestyle, whenever there's a change in the environment in which you are, your gut also responds to it very much in a similar way. So I'll just take you through a few of these symptoms that you frequently experience. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat and we will be answering it either then and there if I miss out at the end of the session. To go start with, do we need to wait for anybody or should I just continue?
We can start, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, why are we talking about this? Now, most of the elders that we meet above 50 have said that they have some kind of sensations which is related to food or their food habits. And this is happening after 50 because there's a bit of hormonal changes in them. Many people just say, it's okay, it's just mild gas and bloating. It doesn't matter, I can live with it. And they don't really go to the doctor for it per se. What we can do is give you small tips and a little bit of advice on when you should visit the doctors. So that can help fix these problems. And you will know when you really need to reach out to the doctor, when it could be troublesome, and when you can avoid it. So, what happens to our digestive system as we grow older, right? As we grow older, the body starts aging. Now, just like at birth, our gut is developed to digest milk from our mothers, right? As we grow, we get used to digesting food that we are accustomed to. From semi-solids, we move to solids, and then it's from there, it's anybody's choice, right? You can be a vegetarian, you can be a non-vegetarian, you can be a vegetarian. All types of diets are there. Now, normally, what happens to any of the food that we eat during our younger age, it goes at a very good speed. Your machine is new, so it's working in a very optimal situation. But as we grow older, because of the wear and tear, because of the kind of lifestyle we live, because of the situations we are in, because of the other health conditions we are in, our gut system gradually slows down. So the movement of food slows down even further than what normally it does. So normally itself it is slow. Now it becomes even slower. And in our stomach, normally acids are produced, which will break up our food, help in our absorption of minerals and vitamins and other protein and carbs. Everything is done in the stomach. But what happens here is, as you grow older, this acid kind of becomes reduced quantity, reduced intensity. This happens because of difference in your diet, difference in your what kind of lifestyle you lead. There are a lot of reasons why it happens, but most acid becomes a little less strong or not enough to digest the food. Okay, these changes have, then you'll also see that there is a change in the gut bacteria. Now, gut bacteria is important. I will definitely discuss about it in the next few slides. Whenever there's a change in this gut bacteria, you will have some symptoms like bloating, or you might say constipation, or you might have diarrhea. So there's a different symptoms because of the gut bacteria changing. Now, it is living in a certain condition, right? When your system starts slowing down, that means the rate in which the bacteria is changing, the place it's staying, the food is staying there longer, which makes the situation more damp, more solids there. So, all that changes the gut bacteria, which is normally also there. And as we grow older, even our muscles become very weak, right? And we become, some people are very sensitive to certain food after a certain point. So at a very young age, we would eat very spicy food and nothing would happen to us. But after a certain age, even just a small amount of spice will make cause irritation or discomfort for you. ओके, somebody is asking कुछ यहाँ पर हिंदी भाषा में भी बोलिए. आई कैनॉट डू द एंटायर सेशन इन हिंदी, बट मैं जस्ट आई विल टेल यू. तो मैं बता रही हूँ, जैसे आप बट एज एज ज़्यादा होने पे आपका गट सिस्टम, पूरा स्टमक का सिस्टम थोड़ा स्लो हो जाता है. वहाँ पर धीरे से चलता है, और स्टमक एसिड भी थोड़ा कम हो जाता है, बैक्टीरिया चेंज हो जाता है. और abdominal मसल्स जो ऊपर है ना, नहीं मैं अंदर की बात नहीं बोल रही हूँ, ऊपर का मसल्स वो भी बहुत वीक हो जाता है. अंदर का स्टमक का मसल्स भी थोड़ा वीक हो जाता है. और सर्टन फूड, कुछ चीज़ों से आपको सेंसिटिविटी ज़्यादा हो जाता है. लाइक मिर्ची ज़्यादा लगता है, तो वो सब टॉलरेट नहीं कर पाते. This happens to almost everybody after a certain age. And it also depends on what kind of lifestyle you're living. Okay, so let's move on. So what are the most common causes of this? Okay, now see, most of us would have experienced this bloating or gas sensation at some point in our life. But what causes this? Okay, there are a few things that are mentioned here and a few which are not mentioned, which I will tell you. One is eating habits. If you are talking when you're eating, and if you're eating very fast, you're gulping it down very fast. You're not giving it enough time to, to be chewed in your mouth and then swallow. Or if you're talking in between, you're sending air. Air is also entering into your gut system, right? So how does this work? Normally, when we chew and when we swallow, the part which sends air into your lungs, that between the trachea and the esophagus, that gap is closed. So what happens, whatever you swallow goes into your esophagus, that is the food pipe if in normal terms. So when you talk, what happens, even the air goes in. So it's going to end up, where will the air go and stay? It'll go into your gut system. The only way to come out is the other way around, or you have to burp. So this can cause gas. Second is about what kind of food you have. Very salty, very fried items, very high salt, high fat, processed meals. These usually have certain triggers which will cause gas formation in the stomach. And normal food should have adequate amount of fiber. If you don't have enough of fiber, that also will cause amount of kind of constipation. You're not able to pass stools. See, if you just eat only food that can be absorbed and nothing is passing down, then it's difficult to pass stools. And if you don't pass stools, gas is not going to go out. All this becomes a vicious cycle. So you need to have adequate amount of fiber. Then we have food sensitivities. Certain people have lactose intolerance, gluten intolerance, and this doesn't happen all the time, but most people develop it at a certain age, or sometimes they're born with these conditions. So even they will have this constant bloating and gas formation. Like I said, constipation is one of the main reasons of this bloating sensation in the abdomen. Now, constipation, when we talk about constipation, everyone asks, if I don't pass stool in a day, is it called constipation? Okay. Constipation is when you have the urge to go, but you're not able to pass. Or it's been more than a week that you've passed, more than 3 to 4 days that you've not passed stools, then you have to definitely look into it why you're not passing stools. Now, about this bowel function, you have to remember, bowel function is how we develop our system. right? So if you constantly go at the same time every day, and it's like a habit forming. If you form a habit, at that time you will feel that urge to go. Okay, so fix a bowel, like you fix a time in which you'll go. You have, most people have their routines. So some people like to take the newspaper and read it, or some people like to drink coffee. Without a coffee, I cannot go to the restroom. So each of you have a different lifestyle and a different kind of ritual, but that ritual is followed very religiously, right? And the reason why I'm telling this is, our gut and our mind is very, very connected by a very beautiful system, that if you have it in your mind that you cannot pass rules, you will not pass rules. And if you have it in your mind that if I drink coffee I will pass rules, it will happen. That because your nervous system is so beautifully attached to your brain, that even your emotions and stress will change how your gut system works. Then, of course, there are certain medications which itself will cause acidity, gas, and bloating. Just to tell this in a very quick format for Hindi people, जो आप खाना खाते हैं, उस if खाने खाने के टाइम पे इफ यू आप बात करते हैं, या हाई सॉल्ट मतलब नमक ज्यादा या फ्राइड आइटम्स खाते हैं, प्रोसेस्ड फूड जो बिस्किट्स पैकेट्स में आता है वो फूड खाते हैं, तो ज्यादा हो जाता है। फाइबर ठीक तरह से नहीं है तो वो आपको गट का प्रॉब्लम आता है। जिनको भी लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंस और ग्लूटेन इंटॉलरेंस है, उनको भी थोड़ा बहुत एलर्जी जैसा हो जाता है। एंड कॉन्स्टिपेशन मतलब बाथरूम ना जाने का तकलीफ जब होता है, उसकी वजह से भी आपको ब्लोटिंग जैसा लगता है पूरा, आपको लगेगा बहुत टाइट सेंसेशन स्टमक पे। एंड कुछ दवाइयाँ लेने पे ही आपको एसिडिटी और ब्लोटिंग का सेंसेशन हो जाता है। इन सब के लिए आपको जिस डॉक्टर से बात करना है और मेडिकेशन थोड़ा अलग करना है। सो यू जस्ट हैव टू चेंज द मेडिकेशंस, इट विल हेल्प। Okay. Now, I just told you about how what and all can cause it. There are certain medical conditions itself which will cause bloating sensation, tightness in the stomach, acidity problems. All this, like I told you, one was about food intolerance. I told you they have some lactose intolerance or gluten intolerance. Then one which is very common is irritable bowel syndrome. I'm sure most of you have heard of this. Uncontrolled diarrhea, uncontrolled constipation. So it's like it doesn't listen. You whatever you eat, no matter how much you change the diet, you have some kind of irritation and very discomfort is there. So that irritable bowel syndrome some people have, and it's usually stress induced. It's not. It's there's not an exact cause for it, but most of the time we've seen it's either stress induced or it's because of some other disease. Then, of course, there's acid reflux or GRD, which we say. This usually we've seen in people with high performing jobs, high stressful conditions, or if they've not had food on time. All this will cause acidity or reflux, which can cause bloating sensation or discomfort in the gut. Then other conditions will be gallbladder stones, then there is infections, inflammations, diverticulitis. There are a lot of such conditions, but these people who are diagnosed with these conditions can be treated and can lead a normal life. At least may not be completely cured of all these situations, but we can definitely manage it. So if you have any symptoms like this which are persisting for a long time, definitely talk to your doctor. Okay, now I was telling you about the gut and brain function, right? Uh, so in gut and brain function, I told you, I started my conversation saying that when you're going for an exam, or if you're going for a let's say you're going to get married, or you're going to go for a function, your stomach is all butterflies. Why is that? Because there's a signal from your gut to the brain and brain to the gut saying, hey, I'm going to do something. So that time you start feeling very anxious, and but you've heard that saying, butterflies in your stomach. So this happens whenever there's stress, when there's anxiety, when there's mood change, whenever whenever you're calm and nice, you don't have any issue with your gut. But the minute you get anxiety, you start feeling, I have that gut feeling in my stomach that something is wrong. All this is because your mind and your gut is completely connected. They go hand in hand. So if you are emotionally well, definitely your gut also will be well. So other than just food which impacts your gut, even your emotions impact your gut. So just to sum up what I said in Hindi, जैसे मैंने बताया, आप कहीं पर परीक्षा देने जा रहे हैं तो आपका गुदगुदी जैसा होता है पेट में ना, आपको डर लग जाता है, तब भी ऐसा हो जाता है। तो इसका मतलब क्या है, आपका ब्रेन और आपका स्टमक को कनेक्शन है। तो अगर आप नॉर्मल काम है तो आपका डाइजेशन भी ठीक तरह से हो जाता है। बट जब भी आप में स्ट्रेस है या आप बहुत डरे हुए हैं या कोई डिप्रेशन है, तो आपका सिस्टम ही कुछ पूरा अलग से हो जाता है, आपका डाइजेशन ठीक तरह से नहीं होता है, आपको ब्लोटिंग जैसा होता है, खाने को मन नहीं लाइक आपको भूख नहीं लगता है, पूरा बदल जाता है। तो आपको मन और आपका स्टमक का कनेक्शन बहुत अच्छा है। ठीक है। और just to tell you how this works, there's a beautiful system called enteric nervous system. There are more than 100 million nerve endings there, which sends the from the gut to your brain, there are more signals sent than what comes from the brain to the gut. So this signal system is what changes your gut system, also how it works. So whenever there's a panicking situations, or when your body is in some kind of stress, whether it's infection or somebody is coming to harm you or whatever that situation, when you're in that fear and flight mode, your brain immediately tells your gut, shut down. I'm not going to use you right now. I need to divert all the blood to the organs that are really required. One would be your heart, what your main functions, right? So whenever there's a distress, or just to give an example, right, if a war is happening or if there's somebody going to attack a country, what does the country do first? It first protects its major, you see the protection protocol, they will start telling major plausible places which terrorists will attack. Please make sure the police is there, monitor them. That's what our brain does. So whenever there's a panicky situation, it tells our body, hey, gut is not so important right now, let's go to the other systems, make sure that they function properly, and so that you can get over this emergency. Okay. So wahan par bhi you will have different, there will be little change in the guts symptoms. Now, what to do to give you reliefs when you have such constipation feeling? Now, for those who have undergone it, you know it is very stressful. It's very easy to say you have gas, but it is a very difficult situation to be in, right? One, it is completely bloated. Your stomach is going to be tight. You can't sit. If it continues for a long time, it is difficult to breathe. You cannot lie down. You can't sit. You can't do any work. You can't concentrate on anything. So that becomes very difficult. Second is about gas. Now, if you're passing gas, normally we have a very long intestine. Okay. So in a day, around 14 to 23 times, even without our knowledge, we are passing gas. Okay. Some of them are loud, some of them are undetected, some are with smell, some are not with smell. But it becomes very embarrassing if you have to do it very frequently in front of others, right? And as per social protocol, they say it's not manners. But having said all that, it's a medical condition which can be treated, can be avoided. So what you have to do is make sure you mindfully eat slowly, chew, and follow those. I don't know if you've heard, but there were table manners that were taught to us as young children, that don't talk during your food. The reason was this, that when you talk, air will go in. But of course, there's contradicting people saying that, hey, dinner time is where we sit and chit chat. It's lovely that we get along there and we talk, but it's really not very good for us, because when we talk, we are sending air gulps inside. So we need to stop talking during that time. Eat slowly, chew well, make sure that the food is completely chewed and then swallowed. This not only controls your digestive system, it also makes sure that your food is digested, absorbed properly, and the right amount of substances taken in, and it prevents you from overeating also. And making sure you drink enough of water in a day. Smart hydration is definitely important. Avoid triggers like alcohol, fried items, carbonated drinks definitely help. And for those who are prone to gut issues, I would suggest split your meals. If you're having 3 meals a day, split it into five. So don't eat at one shot a big meal. Make them small and frequent. That will definitely help. And post meal walk definitely helps, even in diabetes control as well as in other conditions. So I would suggest you give, after you eat, don't immediately start walking. Give a 10-minute break. After 10 minutes, do a 10-minute walk. It helps not only in your digestion, it also helps in making sure that you do not progress in diabetes, controlling your diabetes, and definitely help in all the other symptoms. Okay. So these are simple, quick relief strategies that I'm talking about. But there are many more things that you can do. Okay. So long-term gut health tips. Again, I did tell you about most of these questions, but let me just say a few more things here. One is fiber. Of course, fiber-rich food. When we talk about fiber, we tell fruits, vegetables. Yape, you have to remember, don't just make smoothies and or strain the juice. That doesn't work. It has to be the full fruit. It has to be whole vegetables. You can boil them, you can fry them, however, but they should be properly ingested. And then make sure that in a day you drink around 2 to 2.5 liters of water. Then probiotics. Now let's talk about probiotics. I'm not sure if you've heard, but there are two types of biotics, right? One is prebiotics, one is probiotics. I don't know if you know the difference, so I will just explain it here. Probiotics is what, so normally in our system, right, in our gut system, we have bacteria living there. Okay. Now, first thing everyone thinks is bacteria causes infection. True. But there are some friendly bacteria that lives in our gut system, which helps us in digestion, which helps us in production of certain vitamins like vitamin K, biotin, and other vitamins. It helps us even to absorb them. And they are normally required there. So it's like telling how you live in a world, right? You have to coexist with animals, you have to coexist with plants. Like that, our system works only if these bacteria are coexisting. Now, whenever you take any kind of antibiotics, or if you're undergoing any kind of infections, what happens is this normal good bacteria can get depleted. Okay, especially if you're on an antibiotic. So if you notice, our people, doctors usually will give you a probiotic or a prebiotic. They will tell you to take it along with this. Now, what does this do? Okay. Now, this prebiotic, what we call, that is PRE, prebiotic. This is, it is food for bacteria. Okay, so example is like a banana, which is rich in fiber. When these foods are eaten, the normal bacteria there will flourish. Okay, which means they will be maintaining. It's like a food for them. Okay, it's like fertilizer for them. And the bacteria itself is like a gardener. It will make sure your gut system is working well. Probiotics help increase these bacteria when it is lost. Okay, so you can use yogurt, you can use fermented food. There are even sachets which are there you can take. Okay, and these pre and probiotics are very important. Probiotic, if you have bacteria and if they're not functioning well, if you give them fertilizers in the form of prebiotics, they'll function well. And these prebiotics are nothing but food. Okay, simple ones which you normally can use every day would be your onion, your banana, those kind of food. Okay, now if you give this, the bacteria will flourish. Now there are certain conditions where this bacteria, when you have a low immunity, this bacteria itself can become overwhelming and cause an infection. But having said that, you definitely need certain amount of bacteria there to help you with digestion, prevent gas formations, and to help you absorb some of the vitamins and minerals. Okay. Now moving on to exercise. Now exercise keeps the bowel moving. Okay. Now just to give you an example. So when you lie down, when you sleep, right, your system, most of your gut system is working because the rest of your body is not working. So now what happens when you exercise? How is it going to make a difference? So a lot of people ask me, hey, isn't the digestive system working better when we sleep? Then why do you say that we have to exercise? Okay, so here's what happens. Now if you are a person who doesn't walk, who just sits in a place for a long time, what happens? You're not burning any energy. If you're not burning any energy, then your body is not going to absorb. It doesn't require extra food. So if it takes any extra food, it has to store it as a fat. Okay, so even our body is a bit lazy in that matter. So it'll not continuously absorb. It'll take longer time to send the food system. It'll tell, let me back up all this energy. But if you exercise, what happens? Definitely you're going to lose energy. Now, if you lose energy, you need energy. So which is the quickest way of getting of energy? It is from the gut system. But if you don't have it in the gut, then it will start using your extra stored fat and all that. But having said that, if you exercise, there's also a rush of blood to the gut system to absorb more calories and to make sure that this bowel is moving, and even the gravity, all that plays a role in this. That is why we say exercise. When we talk about exercise, we don't expect you to do a full-blown gym exercise. A simple walking, 10 minutes post your meal. Don't start immediately after your meal. Okay. Then last but not the least, I told you stress. stress itself, any stressful condition. I've seen people who say that if I'm in a very stressful condition, if I'm scared of something, I want to immediately go to the restroom. Why? It's not only about urination, it is some people get diarrhea. Some people say that I'm not able to go to the restroom at all when I'm fully anxiety. So the way we react is different, but there is a difference in that stressful condition how our gut system works. So if we have consistency in the habits that we form, we'll definitely be able to help address all these issues. Now, foods that we have to watch for. So there are a lot of foods that we have to watch for, but in the right balance, they all play good. Okay. Now, some people, I've heard people say that if I eat potato, I get gas. Some people say I eat beans and lentils, they are gas forming. Now, just to break a few myths over here, yes, they are gas forming if not taken in the right directions, right? So certain foods, if they're not boiled, if they're eaten raw, they cause such problems. But if you're either taken it in, if it's cooked in the right manner, it will not cause it. So the main thing you have to do is make sure that they cooked well, and the quantity also. Just because I like beans doesn't mean I eat beans 3 times a day. They should always be a balanced diet. So that will take care of it. Then about artificial sweeteners. Of course, artificial sweeteners, they say it is sugar free, it is not, but it is end of the day, it's a chemical that we're taking which has hidden hidden problems with it. It can cause some amount of acidity, it can cause some amount of bloating. Then, of course, like I said, lactose intolerance. Somebody is asking, is there a way for reversing lactose intolerance? Unfortunately, no, but we can help you live with it and tolerate it better. But I've not, at least my personal experience, I've not seen anybody completely reverse it once you have it. You will have symptoms the minute you start taking something that there. But of course, there are later studies say there are ways of inserting certain bacteria into your gut system to prevent this, but it is not a widespread treatment per se yet. Then coming back to the topic, heavy food. Like I said, any food, if you overeat, if it is very high fat and if it is fried, the minute you eat something like that, it's very yummy. Let me be honest. I love fried items, but what happens after that? Your stomach is so full, you just want to lie down, you don't want to do anything. Why is that? Because your system takes longer time to digest this kind of food and difficult to absorb and all that chemicals acting. So it is better to avoid too much of this. A little bit here and there definitely is not a problem. Okay, just before I go further, I thought I will just answer a few questions. Somebody's asked, after taking breakfast, do stool passing immediately? Is it a gut problem? So, like I said, it is again up to you, right? It depends on how you've had a habit. If your ritual was like this, then it is not a problem. But if it's something that you're starting now and you pass after every meal you're having it, maybe you want to consult your doctor and just check what is going on. Okay. Then how to avoid frequently going to the restroom while in stress. Unfortunately, it is not in our control. The only way we can do, I will definitely tell in the next few slides how to handle your stress so that this can be prevented. Then someone's asked, yeah, is taking Yakult probiotics safe to have daily or homemade yogurt? I always prefer something that is homemade. Yakult is definitely good, but again, I would prefer homemade yogurt. Okay, now just going back to your gut. Okay, like I told you before, we have almost 1 trillion bacteria in our body, and they're so tiny and small that they fit in your gut system. And your gut itself is a lengthy, very long rope. Okay, which is twisted around each other. So it lives there. It helps us take care of digestion and all that. Then some food, of course, universally they cause gas, but if you eat them in proportion and if they're cooked well, they should not be an issue. Then health connection, I told you already, the gut and mood is connected. Immunity also plays a part. I said, no, the minute your immunity drops, the bacteria that are living there can change. And if they become more, then it's going to cause gut issues. And what most people don't know is your gut is the one which makes you happy most of the time. Okay. It is 90%, 90% of the serotonin is because of the gut. Okay. It's called a happy hormone. What happens? Just simply, I'll tell you. If you see something that you like to eat and you eat it, what happens to you? Initially, you have that rush. I'm so happy. I got my daughter. She jumps with, as soon as I give her ice cream, she's like very happy. So, what happens? Why is she so happy? It's not just the look of the thing, but that calm sensation. Let me give you another example. If you have some sore throat, if you drink warm water, what happens? You feel that warmth in it, right? That feeling. So, most of your gut system is responsible for your happy hormones. So, that is why I think in the past they used to say the way to your man's heart is through the gut, through your food, right? So they would always tell us, make sure you cook well so you can win his heart. But that's why, because if their stomach is full and they are satisfied, definitely they're going to be happy. And if they are happy, it translates into all the things that you do around them. Okay. Due to lack of time, I'm not going into Hindi versions. Please bear with me. Lifestyle habits that I've already told you before. If you are having any of these symptoms, please keep a symptom diary. Practice mindful eating, which means make sure you know how much portion you're eating. Do not watch TV or any kind of systems and eat, because when you're distracted, your body is not giving you the signal to stop. So you will end up overeating, or you might not eat the right proportion. So make sure you have a balanced diet. Do not eat anything heavy after 6:37. Keep it very light, and make sure you have at least 2 hours of sleep, 2 hours of gap between your meal and your sleep. Try to avoid limit alcohol and avoid smoking, and make sure you get regular sleep. Okay. Now, when to see a doctor? Now, when there is sudden, severe, persistent bloating, now you see you've never had the symptom before, now suddenly you have it, and it is so distressful, then please immediately go to the doctor. If you have any kind of blood in stools, if you have unexplained weight loss, or if you have diarrhea and constipation continuously, then please definitely meet the doctor. And if you have food intolerance, like suddenly of developing rashes after eating certain food, anything that happens, please make sure you visit a doctor immediately. Do not avoid this warning signs. Just to tell you about a few myths and facts. uh, all the bloating is due to gas. This is not true. Gas is not the only thing which causes bloating sensation in your stomach. If there's water logging in your stomach because of your kidney failure or due to ascites, you must have heard of removing water from the stomach, right? That is because the whole abdomen gets filled with water outside. So fluid could be a reason. Second, it could be some mass inside, or it could also be undigested food. Constipation also can cause it. So there are various reasons why you have this. So please talk to your doctor and check what it is. It may not be a simple gas. If it is persisting, please definitely look. So I had a client who came, I had a person who came to me and said, I have been having bloating sensation for a long time, but otherwise I'm okay. So when we did a routine examination, we found that she had gallstones. So on removing the gallstones, she was totally fine after that. So like I said, all bloating is not gas. Okay. Then next one is about cutting out carbs will stop bloating. This is totally not true. You definitely need carbs for your normal diet. Okay, but it has to be in a proportion. Like I said, it has to have, everything should be in a proportion. You can't just have only one kind of food or avoid the rest. Okay. Then probiotics work instantly. Now, this is one thing that most people ask me most of the time. So I started eating curd from yesterday. Shouldn't I get better? The thing is, no, it is not true. Probiotics take at least a week to show the benefits. So you need to wait for it to show benefits. Okay. Sorry. Then the take home messages. If you have bloating and gas after 50, it is common, but make sure it is not recurring, and you are if you have any problems, definitely visit the doctor. Be aware of certain symptoms that come, and if you have not experienced it before, if you feel something is different, definitely talk to your doctor. And like I told you, the small tips that we've given you, if you follow this, it'll help you. And before I wind up, I will, somebody asked me how to handle the stressful condition. So I'm going to just tell you how you can do. So in a stressful condition, what you can do is you can follow the 4, 8, and 7 rule. Okay. In that, what you do is for 4 seconds, you take a deep breath. For 8 seconds, hold your breath. And 7 seconds, breathe out. This cycle, if you do, you'll be able to control your anxiety, your stress, and then calm down. This you maybe you can try it. Each one has their different way, but I usually tell 4, 8, and 7. 4 seconds you breathe in, 8 seconds you hold the breath, 7 seconds you leave. Now what happens here? Your mind gets distracted from the stress. It focuses on your breathing, and definitely it will help in calming you down. If you calm down, all these gut issues can slowly come down. Okay, and you become more aware. Okay, that's the end of my talk, but I will start answering the questions that have been put there. Okay.
Yes, so that was an amazing presentation actually. I was just going through all the questions. Most of them you have already answered, but still we have some. So there is why Kamima, I don't feel to have my lunch and even dinner. I go for walk 3 times and I don't say that I don't feel hungry, but not at the time of lunch and dinner. No doubt I'm overthinker. क्या काम करना है हुआ?
Okay. Like I said, your gut and your mind is completely related. So if you say I'm not hungry, I definitely will not be hungry. And like I told you, your gut is something that you train. You are born with a system which is trained by you. So if you remember, even as a child, when they're feeding the baby, they tell for a newborn baby, every 2 hours once you have to feed. When they become 3 months, we tell every 3 hours once is enough. Then when they grow older, we tell the duration between meals will change, right? So like that for us also, as we grow older, our guts become slower, so they don't feel hungry. But if you follow a proper routine, you can stick to it at that time, whether you like it or not. Like a bell, 1 o'clock you start feeling hungry. So my daughter, even she goes to the school and comes back on the days of a holiday, even at that 12 o'clock, even if, before anybody else, she's like, I'm hungry. That's because the system is already in place. She's got used to it. Same way like us, we have to make sure whether we are hungry or not. At that time, we eat something. So if it's continued as a routine, your gut will definitely feel hungry at that time. But having said that, old age definitely has an impact on appetite. If there's a drastic reduction in appetite, I would like you to get an examination done by a doctor.
My issue is whenever I'm staying home for the whole day, I eat more than 7 to 8 times. I just have my lunch, and after 15 minutes, I'm like, "अरे भूख लग रही है मुझे." I don't know why it feels, but I keep on eating.
That's because you're comfortable at home. So I told you, your mind, you're not stressed, right? At home, you're comfortable. And of course, for you, it is this way around. For me, it's the other way around. My mother keeps giving me every 2 hours once, eat something, eat this, no, eat that. That is her love. And that time we don't say no and we eat because we are comfortable in that situation. So when our mind is calm, digestion is also better.
That's awesome. That's pretty good. We have a question by Sunita ma'am. Is vegan diet better than a normal diet?
It's a very controversial question to answer. Okay. Let me just put it in my perspective. This is just my opinion. I'm not going to tell anybody else's opinion. From what I've learned is, as humans, when we are born into a certain environment, right? For example, if I'm born in an Amazon forest in Africa, my system is developed such that I can tolerate that environment, that kind of rainfall, that kind of forest, that kind of. So I have system which can prevent me from getting sickle cell anemia, those kind of things. But if I'm born, example, even in India, North India and South India, you see our food is completely different. Why is it different? Because we are born in an environment where rice is grown predominantly, and North Indians are born in an environment where wheat is grown predominantly. Again, why the change in this agriculture? It is because these foods are better digested by us here in south side. Rice is better digested, and our generations together, millets and rice is what we've been growing. Okay, so I believe follow the ones that you have been born into and what you are living with. Don't try a Western diet in India, it may not work for you. Okay, because your bland diet, we're not born to be bland, we were born to be spicy. But the same way, I can't tell an American to come and eat a spicy food. He's not born to tolerate this diet. So, what you grow into and how you develop your system, it is up to you. I would be mindful about the environment in which I am and adjust it accordingly, because those fruits, vegetables which are grown usually adapt to that environment and grow. And if you know, I don't know if you've heard the saying that eat every season, eat that fruit which is in Vivek. Why? Because summer only you get mangoes because it's easily digestible in summer. It doesn't come in winter. Of course, now we are breaking all rules and bringing up genetically designed, where all through the year we are getting it. But there are certain legumes which you will not get, only in the winter you will get, because they are rich in proteins, can be eaten in winter and will give you more energy, and but will not be available in summer, because that in summer it might not digest well. So even the plans are based on that. So I wouldn't say this is good for you, this is bad for you. I wouldn't say vegetarian, non-vegetarian. It completely depends. It's your choice how you want to do. But keep in mind where you are living, what kind of situation you are in, what kind of weather it is, what is available there. Now I can't tell you follow olive oil here. I can't go to Kerala house and tell them, please don't use coconut oil, use sunflower oil. Right? They're born and used to that. I can't eat coconut oil. I can't eat the double rice, that boiled rice. So it completely depends on your choice.
So Sunita ma'am, you are staying in Baroda, so what you can do is you can have dhokla and everything. Just go for it. Have the papada, vapada and everything. Jalebis. Okay, so one very interesting question we have got, that is, we got it on a WhatsApp actually. Why do we sometimes feel stomach discomfort before exams, interview, or else a big event? We are into events, so we start getting the discomfort. Why is it?
So, like I told you before, this discomfort happens. I told you our gut and our system is. I told you there's more than 1 trillion nerve impulses that are going from our gut system to our stomach, to our brain. So when we are nervous and all that, the impulse from our brain is to our stomach saying, "Hey, slow down! Don't do this! Don't digest! Stop working! Let me reduce the blood flow to you." So when that happens, you have some discomfort. So it'll come as some people have diarrhea, some people have nausea, vomiting. A simple example I'll give you. If you turn yourself around, you just flip yourself around, your body starts, your brain starts telling you are going to fall down. So stop. Okay. Otherwise, what happens when you stop? You'll start feeling that nausea feeling. I'm feeling like vomiting. Okay. And the same thing happens when you move, right? When you vertigo feeling, when you're going in hill stations, climbing up. All that is in the mind. But it unfortunately, there are certain things that we can prevent, certain things we cannot, but we know. So mind and body is very much connected. So if you have that proper relationship, like I said, do your stress, do that 4, 7, and 8. 4, 8, and 7. It'll definitely help.
I'll try that. Moving on next, we have a question from Shamla Ravi ma'am. Is there any way of reversing lactose intolerance?
Definitely, I answered this before. It is not possible. There are new systems that they are working on where they introduce certain bacteria to help in this, but currently it's not in market, and we have not seen many people reverse it completely. Tolerant, yes, we have helped them to prevent the symptoms and avoid those food rather than treat it.
Nice one. We have a next question. After taking breakfast, do stool passing immediately? Is it any gut problem?
This I've answered already. If it is some habit that you've had, it is fine. If it is something that is newly happening and you are having it across every meal, then please do check it. If it is just one meal, I think you can ignore it.
One-
Retrain yourself. Retrain yourself.
So one more. There are actually three people have asked this. Is taking Yakult probiotic safe to have daily or homemade yoga?
I told you Yakut is definitely good. There are a lot of other companies which give this. But having said that, I always prefer homemade yogurt. It is safest, most easily available, most cheapest, and definitely I know how I made it, so I know what is gone into it.
So you can have it every day also.
Yes.
So one more interesting question, because I have also started doing this. These days, younger generation is switching over to ragi, millet, no carb diet. How is that useful?
Okay. Uh, Again, another controversial question. Again, I'm going to give only my opinion. Okay. Ragi, millet, all this was grown initially in our countries by poor people, right? If you go back and look, the ragi was a staple diet of Karnataka people, to be honest. And there were millets which were grown, but they were more used for as fodder, not as for human consumption. Okay. But just like how tea and coffee became a fad because of the industry, now the new latest fad is we don't have a new item in the system, so let's bring up millets and ragi. I'm not dismissing. Ragi is definitely good for people in the south country because they're used to it. But millets per se, initially it was started for as a fodder for animals. It has some benefits, but completely changing your diet to a millet based diet is not something I recommend personally. This is my personal opinion. I know each doctor and each person has a different opinion. I would mix it. If you want, you can have a few meals on millets, but stick to what is your core base.
That's true. Now, this is for all, especially for all the South Indians as well as those who all love idli and dosa. This is by SD Ghate, sir. Fermented food, various like dosa, idli, potato, paratha, that's aloo paratha. How many times in a week can be taken? Dosa instead of rotis can be included during lunch and dinner? He's asking.
Okay, so like I told you, wherever we are born, whatever we do has a say. Our Indian culture was beautiful. Okay, every diet that we had, everything that we did had some scientific reason which they do not know how to explain it, but it was beautiful. So this introducing the probiotics into your system through dosa and idlis is what our generations had already introduced. So instead of your probiotics, which is introduced in the form of sachets or drinks, our system already had it. Now, the concept of how frequently can I have it? It depends on your taste. It depends on whether you can eat it so frequently. So, in my house, if you notice, my daughter loves dosa. She will eat every day if I make. So, it depends on choice because some people don't like to have it every day. It becomes boring. And of course, variety also changes. So, I add, for example, I add carrot. I make sure that I grind it into the thing and put it in the batter. So one day I add carrot, one day I add beetroot. So I'm introducing vegetable with the dosa. So variety and taste is what matters. And it's definitely a very good thing to add into your diet because it
Sure.
gives you probiotics.
Then I can have it. Okay, now this I might spell it wrong, but does cholecystectomy affect digestion?
Tell. Yeah, so cholecystectomy, basically you're talking about gallbladder and removal and all that. How does it affect? Certain food may be difficult to digest for them, but otherwise it is not a big thing. I've seen a lot of people living a very normal life after the gallbladder is removed and stones are removed, and it won't make much of a difference. But for those patients, we tell them to avoid too much of rich and fried items. But again, this is something that we tell for everybody. Don't have too much fatty food. Don't have too much fried food.
Actually, yeah. So now, before we go move ahead, we have some more two to four questions more. Stay connected with Marzi community. Join our WhatsApp group to get the latest updates on nutrition, active aging, and tips to lead a vibrant, purpose-driven life through fun and learning. So there's a WhatsApp link in the chat box, everyone. I would request everyone कि उसे सिर्फ एक बार press कर दीजिए and you will be there in their WhatsApp group, so you can consult with them, you can tie up with them, you can just ask them anything, whatever there is, and they will surely love to answer that. Moving
Yeah,
on next.
before you go to the next question, I will also like to tell them. I know we meet very infrequently. This conversations happen once in a month or once in thing. So if you join our community, we have more webinars like this, which you can definitely reach out to us personally also if you have any queries. We also have a health wing where we definitely have target based things where we can help you achieve those things, and we want you to make sure that you have a active lifestyle as well as healthy lifespan. So it's not about just increasing your lifespan but increasing your health span, so live better. So definitely you'll get a lot more such tips in our Marzi community. I have also posted the chat in the chat group the link. Please join us. It will be fun way to connect with others of similar taste, and any questions you have you can always post it there and we'll definitely get back with answers if I'm not able to
Yeah, so there
finish it
is
here.
a lot more than the webinar only. So please do join their community. So let's move on to next. Yes, this is again a very important question. For gas constipation, whether Ayurvedic kada or churna can be taken before going to bed every day.
Okay. I'm not an Ayurvedic person, so I wouldn't be the right judge to tell you this, but I have heard people take it. Relatively, if the churna or whatever is given by a practiced, a registered medical practitioner, a good Ayurvedic doctor, then it is okay. But again, they also do not say every day. They will give you the time frame in which you can take. So please follow that. If you're taking it just because somebody else is taking it, may not suit you. Like I said, one shoe does not fit all. So please make sure you consult a proper registered medical practitioner, Ayurvedic practitioner, and then take it. I'm not the right person to tell you about this.
That's true,
I'm an
actually.
allopathic doctor. I'm an allopathic doctor.
But we just wanted a view, so at least we got a view of how people. Okay, so moving on next, we have does gallbladder bladder removal affects digestion?
This is the same thing as cholecystectomy. I just answered that.
Okay, so that's it. All the questions we have got answered, and there are many such. So we will be sending it to the Marzi team, and they will be. And first and foremost, the only thing which I would like to tell you is, please do join their community. There is a link in the chat box. I have also sent it to you. Just click, and you will be there in their group. They have many more such webinars which they do it on the regular basis, as well as much more different kind of topics are also there. So please do join in. And thanks a lot, Dr. Snehalata. One more time, actually. That was an amazing presentation and amazing Q&A. And thanks to Marzi especially. So thank you, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you
Yeah.
soon. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.